It's a highway surrounded by forests, mountains and silence. A place of staggering beauty and haunting tragedy. For decades, women have gone missing here. Some were found murdered, others were never found at all. This is the story of the Highway of Tears. And this is True Crime Stories with Jenny. Highway 16 runs across northern British Columbia, Canada. It stretches over 700 kilometres, winding through remote terrain and small communities. But between the cities of Prince George and Prince Rupert, it has gained a darker name. They call it the Highway of Tears. Since 1969, more than 40 women and girls, most of them Indigenous, have vanished or been murdered along this route. Some were last seen hitchhiking, others were walking home or travelling between towns. Many were young, some just teenagers. Most were from First Nations communities. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police initially compiled a list of 18 cases between 1969 and 2006. Activists and Indigenous groups say the number is much higher, closer to 80. One of the earliest cases was Gloria Moody, a 26-year-old mother of two. In October 1969, her body was found in the woods near Williams Lake. She had gone out the night before and never came home. No one was ever arrested. In 1974, 14-year-old Monica Jack disappeared while riding her bike near Merritt. Her remains weren't found for 17 years. It would take another 2 decades before a man named Gary Handlin was charged in her murder. He was convicted in 2019, but most cases haven't ended in justice. In 1994, 15-year-old Ramona Wilson was last seen hitchhiking to a friend's house in Smithers. Her body was found a year later near an airport runway. Her killer has never been identified. In 2002, 21-year-old Tamara Chipman vanished while hitchhiking near Prince Rupert. She was never seen again. Her case remains open. The stories are devastating and they follow a pattern. Many of these women were travelling because they had no other choice. Public transportation is limited in northern British Columbia. Some communities have no bus service at all. If you don't have a car, hitchhiking becomes the only way to get to work, school, or medical appointments. It's a deadly risk that far too many have been forced to take. And for years, no one in power seemed to care. Families were told their daughters had run away. Cases weren't investigated properly. Leads were ignored. Witnesses were overlooked. It wasn't just tragic, it was systemic. In 2005, after decades of inaction, the RCMP launched Project E-Pana, a special task force dedicated to reviewing unsolved cases along Highway 16 and other nearby routes. They examined connections between victims and possible suspects. They looked into serial killers, including Bobby Jack Fowler, a drifter from the United States who had a violent past and was linked to at least one Highway of Tears victim. But E-Pana has been criticised for doing too little, too late. Over the years, the task force lost funding and momentum, and most of the cases remain cold. Meanwhile, families and Indigenous communities have continued to speak out. They've organised marches, built memorials and demanded change. They've shared stories of the daughters, sisters and mothers they lost. They've also pointed to a painful truth, that if these victims had been white, the cases might have received more attention. In 2016, Canada launched a national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. The final report, released in 2019, called the ongoing violence a national crisis and labelled it genocide. The report listed hundreds of recommendations, including better transportation options, stronger support services, and serious reforms to law enforcement. Some change has come. Bus routes have been added in certain areas. Awareness has grown, but the danger still exists, and the road remains the same. A long stretch of wilderness, few streetlights, few cameras, few witnesses, and too many missing women. The Highway of Tears isn't just a place, it's a symbol of violence, neglect, and a system that too often fails Indigenous people. It's a place where young women disappear on the way to school, where mothers vanish while trying to get to a job interview, where justice moves slowly or not at all, and where the silence is as heavy as the grief. If you drive that highway today, you'll see billboards that read, "Girls don't hitchhike on the Highway of Tears." You'll see crosses on the side of the road, and you might wonder how many families are still waiting for answers. Some will never know what happened. Some already know, but can't prove it. And some are still hoping that someone will come forward. If you know anything about the missing and murdered women along Highway 16, even the smallest detail, contact the RCMP or the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. Because every name matters and every story deserves to be heard.